Мгм.
36 это отлично, отлично.
Мгм. Ну да,
Посмотрим. Я надеюсь, что аудитория будет сегодня
я точно,
тоже
да, да,
качественной.
да. 39 уже.
Очень хорошо.
Мгм.
Так, встраиваю. Сорок.
Да.
40.
Это как мне сказали, да.
Угу. Ну, в принципе, все, у меня готово. Так,
Да?
сейчас
Ага.
я сейчас передам права. Так. Опа.
Всё. Да, возьму. Хорошо.
Так, все, я сделала вас организатором, отключаю пока видео, и сейчас запустимся, и звук тоже отключу. Я выйду из класса, чтобы у нас была задержка минимальная, хорошо?
Хорошо, хорошо, хорошо.
Мгм. Отлично. И если вы готовы, мы можем стартовать.
А,
Или подожди
Еще,
минутку.
да,
Можно
еще
15 минут.
15 секунд. Я можно начинать, да. Ольга, я готов.
Хорошо. Готово, стартовали.
Yeah. Hey there, everyone. Hello, Sri Lanka. Welcome to our IELTS free session. My name is Nash Akhtar. Before we start this session, I want to make sure that you can hear me. So if you can hear me, please type yes, and then we'll start this session. So can you guys hear me? I hope the sound is clear. You guys can see me. I can guarantee that this session is going to be a game changer if you're taking the IELTS exam seriously, because I'm going to reveal some tips, some unknown facts, which would be very helpful in order to prepare successfully. So that's great. I see that all of you can hear me. So guys, first of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Nash Akhtar. I'm a certified IELTS trainer. I'm the director of an official IELTS testing center in Eastern Europe. And also I'm a co-founder of Master IELTS. So I have been involved in IELTS for more than 10 years. So starting from an IELTS trainer, being a CEO of an official IELTS testing center, training many teachers to become IELTS trainers. So the experience I'm going to reveal, I'm pretty sure it will be useful for you. Last year, it was 2021, I opened 3 exam centers in Eastern Europe, and we were awarded as the best exam center in 2021 because we use high-tech equipment and also like the interior. So we have the most beautiful exam centers in Eastern Europe. But now I would like to launch in Sri Lanka. I want to provide effective preparation for an affordable price. So that's the main goal for us now. So speaking about Master IELTS, we are the most effective online courses. We have already helped 8,000 students to achieve their required score. So our main goal is to help students to achieve a very high score in their first attempt. Maybe you already know, sometimes some students, they have to take the exam more than once. I visited Sri Lanka in December, and I got the opportunity to meet the director of IDP, Mr. Amal, and he told me even he feels very sad that quite often many Sri Lankans, they have to take the exam at least 3 times to achieve their required score. So that's why my aim today is to show you how you should prepare. Because when I did my research in Sri Lanka, I understood that quite often students don't have proper guidance towards effective preparation. By the way, when it comes to Master IELTS, we have a very interactive platform, and the results, to speak about how effective we are, the results of our students, they speak for themselves. So quite often, guys, our students, if they have like intermediate, upper intermediate level, they end up achieving 7.5 and 8. If they're pre-intermediate, intermediate, with our IELTS expert course, we help our students to achieve band 7 and so on. Since we are conducting this webinar in Sri Lanka, please note that our official representative in Sri Lanka is Leap Academy Private Limited. So it's our official representative in Sri Lanka. In case you guys have questions, you can contact them. And also, if you want to join our paid courses, you can pay in your local currency to Leap Academy Private Limited. In my teaching career, I've had wonderful students from Sri Lanka. First of all, I would like to introduce Dr. Riznia. She's actually now in the UK. She prepared with us with our IELTS expert course, and she achieved a very high score. Then we have Sushant from India. I guess that's your neighboring country. So he also prepared with us and achieved a 7.4. So we have, and we've had students not only from Sri Lanka, not only from India, but from Russia, from Iran, from Malaysia. So it's a great opportunity. They all have the same goal. They had the same goal like y'all, and today they have achieved a very high score. Not long ago, we also had another student from Sri Lanka, and this is the email that we received maybe in October 2022. So her name, if I'm not mistaken, Dr. Shazma. So she prepared with our IELTS expert course, and as you can see, she said within a short period of time, she achieved 8 for listening, 9 for reading, 7 for writing, and 8.5 for speaking. And if I'm not mistaken, she is planning to move to Australia. So the effectiveness proves by the way our students have performed. Anyway, my dear students, today our session is going to be very important. It's going to be for 1 hour and 30 minutes. I'm going to cover every point, every section. So first, we're going to understand what is IELTS. What's the real purpose of this exam? It's very important. Then we're going to become aware of the misconceptions about IELTS. Believe me, quite often you might watch many videos online, but I can guarantee more than 70% what they say is not true. Now, I'm saying this because being an official IELTS administrator, I've understood IELTS has become a huge business everywhere and everyone wants to stand out. So today, I'm going to reveal certain things. You will be surprised. Then, guys, we're going to learn together today the most important skills in IELTS, and also how to prepare effectively. Even if you're preparing by yourself, the approach you should have. Then I'm going to introduce 4 essential skills for IELTS listening and for reading. And guys, I'm also going to reveal a surprising fact. At the end, I'm going to show you how you can pass the IELTS exam 10% cheaper than others. And you can do it only with us. So I'm going to reveal that fact as well, because if I'm not mistaken, now the exam is about 50,000 LKR, Sri Lankan rupees. But with us, with our influence, you guys will have the opportunity to pass the IELTS exam 10% cheaper. So guys, is the plan clear? Is it clear for you all what we are going to learn? If it's clear, please type yes, and then we can move on. Since it's a live stream, there is some kind of a delay. So I guess you guys might hear me after 10 to 15 seconds, but I hope everything is clear for you all. Okay, fine, guys. Lovely. Fine. Now, guys, I would like to know about you all. So could you please tell me, why do you need IELTS? Why do you need IELTS? And what is your required score? And when are you planning to take the exam? This information will be very helpful for our team. So once again, can you tell us, why do you need IELTS? Is it for immigration? Is it for further education? Maybe you want to study in Europe. Maybe you want to study in the UK. Now, quite often, because I'm in Eastern Europe, Germany, they have many free programs. And I'm very surprised that Sri Lankans don't know about this. That's something that we should discuss a bit later. But why do you need IELTS? What is the required score? And when are you planning to take the exam? So those who say that they can't see me, please refresh the browser or click that screen, then it will be clear. Okay, so I want to improve my English, university requirements. Okay, migrate to Canada, understood. Okay, so what is the required score? Now in IELTS, quite often, you need to achieve a band 7, 7.5. And there are also very specific requirements, like 7 and not less than 7 for each section. Do you have such requirements? Okay, now who is planning to take the exam in a month or 2? Who is taking the exam in 2 months or in 1 month? Okay, okay. So many requirements here. I see, okay, each band 7, Keisha writes, okay. So I see from 6, 6.5, 7, and I also see some they need to achieve 8 as well. Okay. Okay, great. Great. So thanks for sharing. That's wonderful. So guys, let's start from the first part of what is IELTS. Okay. So remember, IELTS, it stands for International English Language Testing System. It is the most popular language test in the world. Over 3.5 million candidates, they take this exam every year, 3.5 million candidates. Now, a good score in IELTS, that means a band score between 6.5 and 9, certifies that a person can use English fluently in a native, professional English-speaking environment. Now, that means whatever you learn to pass this exam will be useful for your career once you immigrate, once you enter a university. This is very important to understand. Maybe it sounds very obvious, but this is a point people tend to kind of overlook. You need to understand that you take this exam to prove that you can use English fluently in a professional environment. I'm going to explain that a bit further. That's why, guys, when you speak at the IELTS speaking exam, you need to be organized. You need to structure your answers. That's why quite often, even the ones who are fluent, they are surprised. How did I achieve a 6 or a band 5.5 when I use English at work? I don't have a language barrier. Maybe they are not aware of the marking criteria. So always remember, this exam, if you prepare effectively, it will improve your English skills, and also you'll be able to use English fluently in a professional environment. That's why IELTS is considered to be the most reliable assessment tool, because your English level is assessed objectively. So it's extremely popular, not only for Australia or Canada or the UK, but even Dubai, Singapore, wherever you want. You need to take this exam to prove that you are fluent in English. And even when you want to impress your CV, I would say IELTS is the best exam to take. Fine. So if you, these are the benefits, guys. So what I want to say is don't just focus on the structure and don't tell yourself like, oh God, I need to pass this exam somehow. No, don't have that attitude. Try to understand the benefits. Number one, if you achieve a band 7, I repeat, if you achieve a band 7 or higher, you prove that you know how to negotiate in English. And I'm going to show you that today. If you achieve a band 7, 6.5, 7, 7.5 in writing, you certify that you have the ability to write business letters and analyze data. If you take academic IELTS, then you learn how to describe graphs, bar charts, and so on. Then, guys, you also develop the ability to brainstorm in English. And for listening and reading, today I'm going to teach you, by the way, for both listening and reading, you should know the essential skills. Because imagine you move to Canada, you become the director of a company, they give you a document where you need to read 500 pages and give your opinion. Are you going to read page by page? You can't do that. That's why you need to skim read, to read quickly and understand the general idea. Maybe you need to find specific information. That's why you need to scan in order to find specific information. So these are skills you need to acquire in order to kind of benefit in the long run. So always try to understand the long-term benefits. That's a very important thing. When I underwent training to become a certified IELTS trainer, a lady from the British Council a long time ago shared this tip. And the tip, I believe, will be useful for you all as well. Fine, guys. Now, the advantages of passing IELTS, I guess it's pretty obvious. You know that IELTS is accepted by more countries than any other test of English. So we have Australia, Canada, New Zealand, United Kingdom. Today, the US is also accepting IELTS. It's not a secret anymore. And at the end of the session today, guys, I'll also mention some changes you might expect in the near future with IELTS. I'll mention that as well. So being an official IELTS administrator, I would be very happy to share some exciting changes we will see in IELTS in the third quarter of this year. So it's accepted around the globe. It's not a secret. So the next benefit, guys, effective preparation for IELTS can improve your level of English. Now, quite often people say, I don't know how to speak properly. Quite often people say, I don't know how to write. Some people say, you know, when I watch movies, I don't understand. IELTS is structured in such a way. If you prepare effectively, you will definitely improve all 4 skills: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. But you will never improve your skills if you attend mass classes, group classes, when the teacher doesn't care who you are or how important the exam is for you. So if you follow a proper method, an effective method, then you can achieve a very high score. So that's important, guys. Then let's try to understand the exam structure, and I want to know your opinion. It's not a secret. Remember, IELTS has 4 sections. We have listening, reading, writing, and speaking. So listening, reading, writing, and speaking. So can you tell me which section is the easiest and which section is the most challenging? Which section is the easiest and which section is the most challenging? I'm trying to see whether the sound is clear. Okay. So guys, which section is the easiest and which section is the most challenging? What do you think? Maybe based on your experience, maybe based on your friend's experience, which section is the easiest and which section is the most challenging? Okay, so Kesha, Ishara is saying reading is the hardest. Stephanie is saying listening is the easiest. Thilini is saying reading. So reading is listening. Okay. Writing. Okay, great. Everything is challenging. It's Akib's opinion. Fine. Look, now if you feel that listening is difficult for you, I would say you are right. If you say speaking is challenging for you, I would say you're right. So it's like what Henry Ford said once. He said, if you say you can, you're right. If you say you can't, you're right too, because you understand yourself better. However, remember, this is a very important point. Those who watch movies regularly, those who listen to podcasts, they will find IELTS listening much easier than those who don't, and they will also improve their speaking skills faster. On the other hand, those who read regularly, they will find IELTS reading much easier than those who don't, and they will also improve their writing skills faster. So please keep this in mind. So that's why, guys, you need to expose yourself. It's something that you should do. However, based on statistics, what I can say is that quite often students, they achieve a band 9, the highest band in listening, easily. The same goes with reading, and even they are able to achieve very high scores for speaking, but quite often candidates, they struggle with writing. Now, that's what Mr. Amal told me when I was in Sri Lanka in December. He told me that quite often candidates, they take the exam more than once because they struggle to achieve that 7 in writing. Why does it happen? Number one, writing is a skill that we don't use very often nowadays. I guess even if you look at our native language, we don't write that often. So it's a skill that requires more practice. Number two, writing, when you write an essay, the approach, the style of writing is very different. It's very different, and you guys need to understand how to make your writing style formal. The third reason why writing is so challenging, and this is the most important point, even the trainers, even the teachers don't know how to check essays. Guys, when you receive feedback for your essays, your teacher cannot say like, wow, I like your idea. Wow, we share the same opinion. Can you believe? Wow, I like your vocabulary. No, when you receive feedback, the feedback should be based on the marking criteria. There are 4 criteria you're going to become familiar today, and you need to write your essays meeting the requirements of those criteria. Criteria is a plural noun. It's not criterias, by the way. So you need to write essays to make sure that you meet all those requirements. So that's why writing becomes challenging. So let's quickly start with listening. So I'm going to briefly go through every section. In case you have questions, please type and I'll be more than happy to answer. So for IELTS listening, remember, the listening test is for 30 minutes and you're given 10 minutes extra to transfer the answers from the question booklet to your answer sheet. So guys, if you're taking the paper-based test, the listening section is going to be for half an hour, and then you'll be given 10 minutes extra to transfer your answers from the question booklet to the answer sheet. If you're taking the computer-based test, now who knows about the computer-based test? If you know about it, please type yes. If you're taking the computer-based test, you will not have this extra time. You have maximum 3 minutes extra to go through your answers. So you will not have this 10 minutes extra if you're taking the computer-based test. There are 4 parts, and each part has 10 questions. So in IELTS listening, remember, you will have 40 questions. There are 4 sections, and each section will have 10 questions. The sections become more difficult, with section 4 being the most difficult. So section 4 becomes the most challenging. You'll be given time to read the questions before you listen and check after you listen. So guys, remember, when they play the audio, in listening, when they play the audio, before they play the audio, you'll be given 20 seconds. So they'll give you 20 seconds before they play the audio, and you need to know the skills, the strategies you need to apply. So you need to know that. Fine. So it's good that some of y'all are familiar with the computer-based test. It's becoming more and more popular around the world. That's great. So guys, I hope everything is clear with listening. 4 sections, 40 questions. 4th section is the most challenging. The first section is the easiest. Always remember, you will have time. You will have 20 seconds before they play the audio. You need to go through the questions and follow certain steps. And these steps I'll explain a bit later today. So to achieve a band 9, the first advice is expose yourself. Listen to BBC podcast and watch documentaries. Guys, that's a very important part. It's not just watching Hollywood movies, but if you can expose yourself, if you listen to BBC podcast, if you listen to, if you watch documentaries, I'm sorry, that will be a contributing factor. That will be very effective in order to achieve a very high score for your preparation. Then, number 2, you need to know the approach to every question type. Now, if you're preparing by yourself, if you're attending a coaching class or a group class, if you have a private tutor, make sure they don't just play the audio and say, okay, do the listening test. If they do that, I would say it's a crime. They should teach you the approach to every question type. That's very important. Then, guys, you need to do at least 4 complete practice tests before you take the exam, and you need to assess your progress consistently. So you always need to make sure to see how you're progressing. So for example, maybe when you take the first mock test or the trial test, you might make 25 mistakes, but you need to be analytical. You should not be critical. You need to be analytical. In other words, you need to see, okay, fine, I got 25 out of 40. I made 15 mistakes. Where did I go wrong? Which question type? Which section? Is it section 3? Is it section 4? Why? And then, guys, that way it will help you to understand where to focus more. And if you have a trainer, they should train you to improve on those sections. So also remember, to achieve, I'm not speaking about band 6 here, guys. I'm not speaking about even a 7 in listening, but to achieve a band 9, to achieve that band 8, we've done it. You see the results. We've done it so many times. To achieve that band 9 in listening, these are the 4 essential skills you need to master. Number 1, paraphrasing. Number 2, identifying keywords. Number 3, predicting the missing words. Number 4, identifying distractors. Because there are different question types, but for every question type, you need to apply at least 2 to 3 skills. Once again, paraphrasing, identifying keywords, predicting the missing words, identifying distractors. So these are the 4 essential skills you need to implement. So once you master these skills, guys, once you master these skills, achieving a band 9 is like so sure. It's so sure, like the sun rising from the east and setting in the west. Quite often, students don't focus on this. Quite often, teachers don't teach this. Quite often, students start with practice tests without acquiring these skills. That's why it becomes very complicated. So with Master IELTS Expert course, we are the only course, I guarantee, around the world where we teach our students the step-by-step approach to every question type. So I'll speak about the expert course a bit later. So guys, remember, in IELTS listening, there are 6 types of questions: sentence completion, multiple choice questions, matching, completing plans, maps, diagrams, and labeling, completing a form, note, table, flowchart, or you need to kind of complete a summary, or short answer questions. So you need to know the step-by-step approach to every question type. So it's a very important part. It's a very important part. Once you learn the approach to every question type, only then you need to focus on practice tests. So it's the correct way to achieve a very high score. Guys, if you're interested, I'll explain a bit later. We have a very interactive platform. So we have AI integrated. So in every course that you join, we give the access to our platform, which is for free. And in our platform, we have all the sections covered. So listening, writing, speaking, reading, and also we have a grammar course. And also, guys, everything is nicely structured. So as you can see, we teach everything which is useful. So guys, let's move on to reading now. So remember, after listening, soon after listening, you will have reading. The reading test is 60 minutes long. There'll be 3 passages if you're taking academic IELTS. There'll be 3 passages. And remember, the first passage will be the easiest. The second passage will be more complex. And the last will be the most complex. Remember. So guys, since the first passage is the easiest, make sure to spend 15 minutes. Since the second passage is more challenging, spend 20 minutes. And for the last passage, make sure to spend only 25 minutes. So remember the formula: 15, 20, 25. Never spend too much time on the first passage. Have you heard, maybe quite often, I don't know, maybe some of your friends must have told you, like, I didn't have enough time. Or they say, like, the last 5 questions, I just did gambling, like, I just guessed the answer. I remember I had a student once told me, Nash, the last 5 questions, it was me and God together. I told God, you're with me, I'm just going to answer those questions. Guys, you can't do that. This happens because of poor time management. So always remember, for the first passage, 15 minutes. For the second passage, 20 minutes. For the last passage, 25 minutes. So we call it as the 15, 20, 25 formula. This is not my tip. These are the guidelines from Cambridge. So each passage will be about 700 to 900 words, and there'll be like 6 to 10 paragraphs. If you're taking general IELTS, you will have 3 sections. The first section, you will have 2 small passages. It could be like a newspaper article. The second section, 2 small reading texts. And for the last section, there'll be 1 long passage, which is quite similar to academic IELTS reading. Now remember, the time management formula is the same: 15, 20, 25. Both for general reading and for academic reading, there'll be 40 questions. Unlike listening, there is no time to add answers at the end, so it has to be done during the test. So always remember, you will not have extra time. So you need to keep that in mind. So now, guys, to achieve a band 9 in reading, make reading a daily habit. It's obvious. Now, you cannot expect to achieve very high scores without exposing yourself. So that's a very important part, guys. There is a famous saying, bad habits are easy to start, but hard to live with. Good habits are difficult to start, but then it's easy to live with. Reading is a very good habit. It's a habit that we tend to overlook. But if you can make reading a regular habit, if you can read at least for 20 minutes in English, it could be whatever that you like. It will also improve your reading skills and also your writing skills. And then, like listening, you need to become familiar with every question type and then learn this step-by-step approach for every question type. So you need to know how to approach every question type in reading. Like listening, now this is the syllabus. You don't know this. Like listening, even for reading, there are 4 essential skills. The first skill is skimming, scanning, paraphrasing, and identifying keywords. Skimming, scanning, paraphrasing, and identifying keywords. Guys, maybe you already know, in reading, you are not supposed to read the whole passage and answer questions. Maybe you can do it at home with a nice cup of coffee, but even a native speaker would not be able to answer all 40 questions by reading the whole passage. So remember, you should not read the whole passage to answer questions. You need to implement these skills, and this way you can answer all the questions accurately and also within time. So let's move on to the next one. Paraphrasing, the meaning I'm going to explain today. I'm going to teach you how to paraphrase, so we'll look into that a bit later. So types of questioning in reading. We have matching headings, true, false, not given, yes, no, not given, multiple choice questions, summary completions, short answer questions, sentence completions, locating information in a paragraph. I have a question for those who are planning to take the exam in the nearest future. Do you know the approach to every question type? Do you know the step-by-step approach to every question type? If your answer is yes, I guarantee that you will achieve a band 7 or higher. If your answer is no, reading might be a bit challenging. You need to know, guys, because this is not my tip. It's not like a secret. These are the guidelines from the British Council and Cambridge, the ones who create the test papers. You need to know that. So now I'm answering your question. I'm going to introduce a very important skill, a skill that you need to implement in all 4 sections. We call IELTS as a paraphrasing exam. Another name for IELTS is the paraphrasing exam, because in listening, you need to paraphrase. In reading, you need to paraphrase. In writing, you need to paraphrase. In speaking, you need to paraphrase as well. So what is paraphrasing? Paraphrasing means expressing the same meaning in a different way. This is done by replacing certain words with synonyms, or by changing the word form and changing the structure of a sentence. Let me repeat that. You also can read, it's on the screen. Paraphrasing means expressing the same meaning in a different way. This is done by replacing certain words with synonyms, or by changing the word form and changing the structure of a sentence. So guys, in English, there are 3 ways of paraphrasing. So let me show you the first way. But before that, we have an example. Look, the new iPhone 15 will be released in September. Look at the paraphrase sentence. It says, the launch of the new iPhone 15 will be in September. What have we done here? We have replaced release with the word launch, and we have changed the word form, right? The word order. The launch of the new iPhone 15 will be in September. The launch of the new iPhone 15 will be in September. So now let's make our session interactive, guys. It's not a lecture talk. So I want you guys to get involved with me. Let's try to focus on the first way of paraphrasing, changing the word form. Okay, so please type your answers. Look at the first sentence. It says, Yanni was the composer of Winds of Orchids. Yanni was the composer of Winds of Orchids. Composer, it's the noun form. If you look at the second sentence, a word is missing and the verb form is missing. Can you give me the verb form of composer? What should be the answer here? Yanni blank Winds of Orchids. What should be the answer here? Yanni Winds of Orchids. Composer. I want the verb form of composer. You guys need to know this. It's very important. Very good. Composed. Composed. Well done. So Yanni composed Winds of Orchids. Very good. Look at the second one. She performed really well at the concert. She gave an excellent at the concert. Performed is the verb form. I need the noun form. What is the answer here? She gave an excellent at the concert. Performed, what is the noun form? She gave an excellent, well done, performance. Performance, lovely, lovely. Sarah and her friend had creative differences. Sarah and her friend, what is the verb form of difference? What is the verb form of difference? This one is a bit tricky, right? What is the verb form of different? And what is the answer here? Okay, guys. So it's to differ. Well done. Very good. Very good. Differ. But it was in the past, right? Sarah and her friend had creative differences. Very good. Sabagya, well done. Differed. Sarah and her friend differed creatively. Sarah and her friend differed creatively. Lovely, lovely. Well done. So I know it's not a big deal, but this matters a lot. This matters a lot. Always focus on the basics, guys. It's like, lifting weights. You don't lift 20 kilos at once, go with 5, 10, right? It's a gradual process. Well done. Very good. Now, once again, the first way of paraphrasing is to change the word form. The second way is to replace certain words with synonyms. Look at this sentence. It says, technology plays an important role in the education sector. Technology plays an important role in the education sector. Can you give me synonyms for important? What words can we use instead of important? What words can we use instead of important? Important is an overused word. It's a word that will not impress the examiner. Believe me, both in speaking and in writing. Lovely. I see nice answers coming. Vital, significant, crucial. Asna says it's crucial. Stephanie says vital, significant, vital, essential. Well done. Well done. There is another word which starts with the letter P. Do you know this? Absolutely. Well done. Very good. Very good. Yes. So as you can see, guys, crucial, pivotal, significant, vital. Now I'm going to share a very important point, how an examiner would assess your vocabulary. Remember, in IELTS speaking, quite often the examiner can ask, is dancing important in your culture? Or, for example, is it important to have a big wedding ceremony in your culture? Is it important? Now, quite often people get emotional. They say, like, it's important to have a big wedding ceremony. No, the examiner is mostly interested in that word, important. You need to use synonyms when you answer. So, for example, is dancing important in your culture? You can say, it is. Dancing has always been a crucial part in our culture. So that's the way to answer. So guys, when you want to expand your vocabulary, or those who feel they have limited vocabulary, tip number 1, focus on the adjectives. You can always come up with more than one synonym for adjectives, adverbs, verbs, and then nouns. Those who are taking the exam this week, I'll share another tip. When you write an introduction based on the essay question, read the essay question carefully, underline the adjectives and adverbs, when you write introduction, don't use those adjectives and adverbs. Instead, use synonyms. That's important, guys. Okay, fine. Now, let's move on to the next part. I'm going to make it a bit more challenging. Look at the first sentence. It says, smoking is bad for health. Smoking is bad for health. Can you use a synonym for bad? Smoking is bad for health. So instead of bad, no, bad is a common word, a word we tend to overuse. Injurious, evil, not good. No, guys, no. Unfortunately, these words are inappropriate. Harm, but look, smoking is harmful. Harmful. It is harmful for health. Smoking is harmful. Adjective, so harmful for health. Harmful for health, not harm, but harmful, yes, or destructive, detrimental. Look at number 2. It is a big problem. It is a big problem. Problem, can you give me synonyms for big problem? Issue, well done. Akib, issue is a good word. So issue, but big issue, big. Can you give me a synonym for big? Okay. Okay, fine. Fine. I'm getting different answers. Fine. Let me show. So, guys, big problem. So, problem, it's also an overused word. So, instead of problem, we can say concern, issue, challenge, right? So, major concern, serious issue, right? You can use words like concern, issue, obstacle. So, those are more uncommon words, words which would increase your score in writing. We must save, we can say we must protect, we must preserve. Well done. Major is a very, so instead of big, we can say major, huge. Well done. Very good. Children need, we can say children require. Children need, we can say children require, or children demand a lot of attention. So this is the first habit that you need to develop if you want to achieve a very high score in IELTS. You need to have that desire to kind of learn new words based on the common word. Try to think about synonyms. That way you can expand your vocabulary. So guys, the third way of paraphrasing is to use the passive voice. Have you heard about this? The passive voice. So we use the passive voice when we don't want to focus on who is doing the action, but on who is receiving or experiencing the action. Look at the example. The government should take immediate measures. Immediate measures should be taken by the government. Parents should teach children foreign languages at an early stage. Foreign languages should be taught to children at an early stage. Foreign languages should be taught to children at an early stage. Now, always remember, we use the passive voice to emphasize on the action, to emphasize on the action. We use the passive voice to focus on the action, but not to mention who is responsible. That's why we say foreign languages should be taught to children at an early stage. But we don't mention who should do that. It could be parents or it could be the school. But we just say foreign languages should be taught to children at an early stage. Now, you can also change the word order when you write. When you want to paraphrase, you can change the word order by using the passive voice. That's how we work. So paraphrasing, like I said, is a very important skill. Now I'm going to show you why it's important, right? Because it's easy to say, difficult to do. So that's why we're going to do a bit of true, false, not given. True, false, not given. So how to answer true, false, not given. Now, are you ready for the challenge? If you're ready, type yes, and then we'll move on. I hope everything is clear. So we're going to do a bit of true, false, not given. So I hope you guys are ready for the challenge. If you're ready, type yes. That will trigger your brain to face any challenge and get the correct answer. Okay. So I hope you guys are ready. Lovely. Let's start then. So when it comes to true, false, not given, remember, you will see the instruction the following way. Do the following statements agree with the information given in the text below? In boxes 1 to 6 on your answer sheet, write true if the statement agrees with the information, write false if the statement contradicts the information, write not given if there is no information on this. Okay? So guys, you read the statement, then read the passage and see whether this statement is true. And if you find the information supporting the statement, it's true. If it's opposing, it's false. If you don't find any information, it's not given. So guys, go with me, don't rush. Look at the first sentence. It says, you can work through parts of a course more than once. You can work through parts of a course more than once. What you should do, first of all, pay attention to the keywords here. You can work through parts of a course more than once. I would underline you work through parts of a course more than once. Then, based on that, I will rephrase it. Guys, before I read, I will try to understand the statement better by saying it in other words. For example, I would say like, you can repeat the course several times. You can take this course like, not just once, you see. So I would rephrase that. Based on that, I would read this paragraph and see whether it's true, false, or not given. So can you tell me whether it's true, false, or not given? You can work through parts of a course more than once. So everyone is saying it's true. Everyone is saying it's true and it's correct. Because if you read the second line, it says all our courses are taken only using a computer. So you can work through the course at your own speed and go back to any session whenever you want to. All our courses are taken online using a computer. So you can work through the course at your own speed and go back to any session whenever you want to. Yes, guys, well done. You see, so the statement is true. So do you understand? It's the same statement, right? But it's paraphrased. That's why paraphrasing is important in reading. Look at the second task. It says, the number of courses offered by Learn With Us has increased enormously. The number of courses offered by Learn With Us has increased enormously. I would first underline number of courses, increased enormously. These are the keywords. Guys, keywords are adjectives, adverbs, verbs, and the subject. Number of courses increased enormously. That means from 5 courses to 100 courses. Pay attention to the adverb. Number of courses increased enormously. That means from 5 courses to 100 courses. Now, when you read the paragraph, see whether you find the same statement, or you might find an opposing statement, or you might not find any piece of information. Any piece of information. So what's the answer? Okay, so some are saying it's not given. What about the rest? Do you guys agree it's not given? Or is it false? Or maybe it's true? Well, guys, if you look at the paragraph, right, it says, look at the last few sentences. It says many of these are specially designed for people who are first language is in English. But before that, they also say that we offer hundreds of courses. We offer hundreds of courses, but nothing about an increase, nothing about an increase. So the answer is not given, not given. Well done. You see, not given. So if you look at that line, 1, 2, 3, 4, the fifth line, it says we offer hundreds of courses in a whole range of subjects from reading, writing, and maths to business and management. Many of these are specially designed. You see, they mentioned they offer hundreds of courses, but nothing about an increase. So that's why you need to identify keywords. You need to identify keywords. So the answer is not given. It's not true. It's not given. You see, it's not given. You don't see any information about, like, they have increased the number of courses. You don't find that information. So well done, guys. I just want to show you how it works. Now let's move on to writing. So if you look at the IELTS writing section, remember, it lasts for 60 minutes. Now that's the challenging part in IELTS. So first you have listening, soon after listening, you have reading, and soon after reading, you'll have writing. So you don't have breaks in between. So you can't relax. And even if you want to go to the washroom, the time will be ticking. That's how the exam is structured. So you really need to take mock exams, mock tests. That's a very important part. You need to do a complete test at home more than twice to become familiar and feel that pressure. It's like, playing sports. You need to kind of feel that before you take the real exam. So the writing part is for 60 minutes. In task 1, if you're taking academic IELTS, you'll have to describe graphs, bar charts, and pie charts. If you're taking general IELTS, you'll need to write letters. And also remember, guys, for task 1, it should be not less than 150 words. For task 2, it should be not less than 250 words. So in IELTS General, you will have to write letters instead of describing graphs. Now, like I told you, the writing section is the most challenging. And I can tell you with a lot of confidence, very soon, guys, I guess it will be in the third quarter, students or candidates, they can only take a particular section if they don't achieve their required score. So that will happen very soon in IELTS. So once you take the exam, and if you don't achieve your required score for a particular section, you can repeat that section instead of taking the whole exam once again. So that's a very good news. It's good news, because otherwise it's going to be very challenging. It's becoming very confusing for many students. I would say quite frustrating. So how to achieve a 7+ in writing? You need to make sure to write essays based on the marking criteria. So these are the 4 criteria that you need to become familiar: task response, coherence and cohesion, vocabulary, and grammar. So when you write essays, you need to make sure to write your essays based on these criteria. So for task response, make sure to write the specified number of words. For task 1, 150 words. For task 2, 250 words. Make sure to follow an academic style of writing. Let me share a tip. You should not use contractions. So instead of saying people don't have time, it should be people do not have time, or the lack of time. You see? Then understand the question correctly. You need to always make sure you have understood the essay question. I can't explain today. I hope I'm not overwhelming you guys with a lot of information. But when you read an essay question, there are 3 components: the topic, the viewpoint, and the essay question. If you want to understand that better, join our IELTS Expert course. I'll explain that a bit later, guys. But you always need to understand an essay question and identify 3 components: the topic, the viewpoint, and the essay question. Okay. So some are asking different questions. Let me just take very quickly, very slow. What if I write less than 250? Look, nowhere it's written that the examiner is going to minus marks heavily. So my advice for you, Thilini, is that make sure that you, of course, improve your speed. It's important. On the other hand, make sure you meet all the requirements. So it's very important. So, just because you don't reach 250, but you wrote 230, it doesn't mean that you're going to achieve a band 5. You can still achieve a 7 or higher. It's just one requirement, but there are other factors. So don't worry much, but definitely you should improve your writing speed. That can be explained how, but I'll do it a bit later. So cover all the points of the task. So you should make sure that you develop your answers with examples and so on. Well, the maximum number, well, there is no such rule. There is a limit, but your essay should range between 250 to 280 words. Coherence and cohesion. So when it comes to coherence and cohesion, my dear students, make sure you use paragraphs appropriately. So in task 2 essays, there should be 4 defined paragraphs: introduction, 2 supporting paragraphs, and conclusion. It's very important. So minimum, there should be 4 paragraphs. Use linking devices. I hope you guys know that. It's very important. Arrange your ideas logically. Sequence your thoughts. Support all ideas with relevant examples and draw a relevant conclusion. So that's coherence and cohesion. Lexical resources. Use less common words. Do not use words such as important, bad, good, big, small. That will make your writing look weak. Use topical vocabulary. Avoid repetition of words and be accurate with spelling. So that's an important part. Then, guys, when it comes to grammar, you need to minimize your grammar mistakes, use a variety of sentence structures, minimize mistakes with articles and punctuation. So when it comes to grammar, it's not just being accurate. You need to use complex structures. You have to work on complex structures because quite often students don't do that. So common mistakes are, when it comes to writing, poor structuring, poorly developing ideas, informal style of writing, poor grammar, and sentence skills. Guys, with Master IELTS in our IELTS Expert course, that's where we stand out. During the course, we check not 1, not 2, not 3, but we check 12 essays. It's important. Today, in the international market, I don't know whether you have done your research, some experts, those who call themselves experts, they charge $20 to check an essay, which is a crime, to be honest. I think it's not fair, especially when students face many challenges. But we check 12 essays in our IELTS Expert course. But the best part is these essays are checked by examiners with my team. I'll introduce my team, my lovely team, a bit later. So I spoke a lot about the structure. We are looking at coherence and cohesion. I told you that when you structure a paragraph, it should be logical. You need to use linkers, and there should be a proper flow. Now here we have 2 examples. Can you choose the paragraph which is structured really well? Is it paragraph A or paragraph B? Which paragraph is structured better? Is it paragraph A or paragraph B? Read the paragraphs carefully and tell me which paragraph is structured better. There should be a clear topic sentence, and the whole paragraph should reflect that topic sentence. Well done. Lovely, guys. Very good. I love this environment. You guys are really great, really involved. Lovely. So it's paragraph A. I'll explain very quickly. The obvious reason for a stressful working atmosphere nowadays is the increasing level of competitiveness among employees. Consequently, this leads to hostile atmosphere in the working environment. Consequently, you see the linker, the effect. The best solution for this is for employers to create team activities. For instance, it is known that many international companies organize tasks focusing on teams which have made the employees perform effectively in a relaxed atmosphere. So as you can see, nicely developed, there is a clear flow. Look at B. Working atmosphere becomes stressful because people have too much time to do. Too much to do, I'm sorry. I think the work should be limited. If the employees respond, do so. If not, employees will leave. So you see, guys, when you speak, it's totally fine, but you cannot write like this. There is no proper connection. Sentences are not connected well. So that's why it is inappropriate. Now I'm going to show you a student from Russia, from Moscow, we used to work with. And honestly speaking, it was my student. His name was Salavat, and he had a pre-intermediate level, guys, a pre-intermediate level. And at the exam, he achieved a band 7 in writing. And I have to be even more honest with you all. He achieved a 6.5 in speaking. He wasn't that fluent, but that guy understood how to improve his writing skills. And I was really impressed. It was in 2016. And I want to show his paragraph about public transport. It's a supporting paragraph. It's not an introduction. Look, he says public transport has a number of advantages. Firstly, it's the most economical option to travel around a city. For instance, in Moscow, the monthly subway ticket costs 10 times cheaper than maintaining a private vehicle. Moreover, public transport can be convenient, especially during peak hours. This could be illustrated by the increasing tendency to use the subway during office hours. Therefore, the role of public transport will always be significant. Do you see there's a clear flow? Every examiner, doesn't matter where, could be in Sri Lanka, could be in Europe, every examiner, when they check an essay, when they check the supporting paragraph, they will see if there is a clear topic sentence, and they will see whether the whole paragraph reflects that topic sentence. Please keep that in mind. So whenever you write an essay and you go through your essay, always see whether your supporting paragraph, when you read a supporting paragraph, whether the paragraph reflects the topic sentence. It's a very important point. So now let's move on to speaking. Maybe you know the speaking part. The good thing about the speaking part is that it's not going to be soon after writing. You'll always have some time. Depending on the exam center, the speaking part could be on the same day, the day before, or the day after the other sections. So the speaking part is going to be between 11 and 14 minutes. It's going to be between 11 and 14 minutes. And there are 3 parts. Part 1, questions about yourself. Part 2 is a monologue. And part 3, questions based on general issues. So you have where you have to give your opinion, analyze, or predict. So remember, guys, part 1, questions about yourself. So the examiner is going to ask about your occupation. If you're a student, about your studies, your university, maybe about your family, about your hometown. So it's pretty general. Part 2 is always a monologue. So the examiner will give you a question card. You'll be given 1 minute to prepare, and then you need to speak for 2 minutes. Part 3, questions based on general issues, where you have to give your opinion, analyze, or predict. Now, like writing, to achieve a good score, a high score, you need to answer according to the marking criteria. So for speaking, guys, there are 4 criteria: fluency and coherence, pronunciation, grammar, and vocabulary. Guys, I'll be very honest with you. Being an official IELTS administrator, I also had the opportunity to travel and explore the world with IELTS. Not long ago, I was in Uzbekistan, in Tashkent. I was very surprised that these preparation centers, the interior is beautiful, it looks very modern, and I even visited certain places like a student. And I'm really surprised that in every class, there are 22 to 30 students. And the best part is the teacher doesn't know what he's teaching. He comes up with a model essay, he says he achieved a very high score, and he shows a model essay where there are 500 words, and I'm not lying. But of course, the interesting part is the students are very humble, well-disciplined, they listen to the teacher, and the worst part is they believe the teacher. So quite often around the world, even the trainers don't know what they're doing. So that's why if you're attending certain classes, if someone is teaching you, you should ask them, okay, how is my speaking? What kind of a score would you give? How would you assess my speaking based on the marking criteria? How is it for fluency and coherence? How is it for pronunciation? How is it for grammar? How is it for vocabulary, right? Because every trainer should provide feedback based on the marking criteria. It's a very important part. And you, on the other hand, my dear students, you need to understand how to improve your speaking based on the marking criteria, how to improve your writing based on the marking criteria. This way, like I said, this way, achieving a very high score is assured. I mean, there is no doubt of achieving a very high score for both writing and speaking. So now, please stay focused. I'm going to show you what you should do for every criterion to achieve a very high score. Number one, fluency and coherence. So for fluency and coherence, develop your answers logically. Avoid hesitations and restarts of sentences. Use transitions and linking words correctly and speak at a good speed. Okay? Look at the question. What do you like about your job? You can't say, I like the salary. I like the working environment. You can't just speak like that. You need to be well structured. Look at the model answer. Well, there are a number of things that I appreciate about my job. Firstly, it's the working environment. We have a very organized structure and all of us work as a team, which is very important for me. On top of that, there is a lot of job satisfaction. In other words, it's always pleasing to see your customers satisfied with your work. So you need to logically structure your answers. Minimize hesitation. Hesitation means, guys, so if you keep pausing, if you keep hesitating, that will influence your fluency. And use transitions and linking words to connect your ideas. Here is another model answer. What do you like about your university? If you speak like this, it's going to be a 4.5, 5.5, but it's better to say, like, honestly, I feel privileged to study at my university because I'm satisfied with almost everything. Firstly, I admire our lecturers. They are so committed and always willing to help us. On top of that, I'm happy with the quality of education. In fact, my university is well known for the teaching standards. And finally, I shouldn't forget to mention the overall atmosphere. There is a lot of positive energy around, which is motivating. So guys, I would invite you all to join our IELTS expert course. It's on a special discount. It is way affordable than the courses you have in Sri Lanka, where you will prepare with experts and we will train you to structure answers logically. And every week you will have speaking sessions through Zoom with native speakers and examiners, and they will train you how to speak properly. So I'm going to speak about the expert course a bit later and the special offer, and also how you guys can pass the exam in Sri Lanka 10% cheaper than the actual price. So I'll discuss that as well. So stay tuned. When it comes to pronunciation, guys, it's not just pronouncing words properly. It's also focusing on other factors. Number one, of course, you need to pronounce words properly. So desert and dessert. The first one is pronounced as desert, which is a huge land of sand. Dessert is actually what we eat as a sweet, right? It could be a pie or a pudding. That's pronounced as dessert. Expertise, not expertise, expertise, and informative. Informative, not informative. I've heard sometimes in Asia, people say informative. No, it's informative. Informative. Then, guys, learn how to chunk. Look at the sentence here. It says, I love my job. It should be, I love my job. After, there is a pause. There is a comma, so you should have a short pause. Like, I love my job. Then learn how to vary your intonation. Ever since I finished high school, I haven't met with my batchmates. Ever since I finished high school, I haven't met with my batchmates. When you use a complex sentence, when the dependent clause comes at the beginning, have an ascending tone, then have a descending tone. Like, ever since I finished high school, I haven't met with my batchmates. in Sri Lanka, because I love Sri Lanka very much. I've been there a couple of times. Guys, I want to say sometimes we tend to mispronounce the word v. We don't pronounce it as how, it's have, gave, give. We don't say give, how, that's wrong. So quite often I know some examiners, when they assess Sri Lankans, they say that they mispronounce the v. It's like, you have to bite your lip, v, very. I gave, he would give, right? So that's a very important part too, is pay attention to that. When it comes to vocabulary, to achieve a band 7 and higher, use uncommon words, use spoken language like, well, actually, try to paraphrase and use the correct word form. Like, do you like sports? I do. I've always been a huge fan of sports. To be more precise, I'm crazy about football because I just love experiencing tense moments. What have we done here? We haven't repeated the same words from the question. We didn't say, yes, I like sports. That's a 4.55 band answer. Do you like sports? I do. I have always been a huge fan of sports. To be more precise, I'm crazy about football because I just love experiencing tense moments. So paraphrase, guys, and use the correct word form. This way, you can always achieve a very high score. So also focus on the auxiliary verb. Like if the examiner asks, have you? You can say, yes, I have. Would you? I believe I would. Can you? Yes, I can. Now, even in a professional meeting, right? If they ask you, would you like a cup of tea? Would you like a cup of coffee? You should never say, yes, I want tea. You don't say that, right? You say, yes, a cup of tea would be great. Or a glass of water would be fine. So focus on the auxiliary verb as well. So I respect my father. You can use uncommon words such as I look up to my father. A beautiful view, a picturesque view. You see, so use uncommon words, it would be better. When it comes to grammar, like writing, you need to minimize grammar mistakes, and also you need to use a variety of sentence structures so that you will learn. Now, my dear students, can you choose the correct answer here? The best option. Two options are fine. For this question at the exam, which answer looks impressive? Can you choose the best option? Do you like to read? The first one says, I do. I enjoy reading because it helps me to unwind myself. I do have always enjoyed reading because it helps me to unwind myself. That's number 2. Number 3, it says, yes, I like to read. Number 4, well, reading has always been my passion since it helps me to unwind myself. I want everyone to answer. Okay. Well done. So it's a no-brainer. It's number 4, but number 2 is also. So I agree if you say number 2, but actually both 2 and 4, but 4 is the best option. Yes, 4 is the best option. Well, reading has always been my passion since it helps me to unwind myself. Now, next time when they ask, do you like to cook? You can say, I do. Cooking has always been my passion because it helps me to relax. So that's how we teach. We will show you how to answer, and then you can develop. So number 2 and number 4, both are fine. Number 2 and number 4, both are fine. And if I was the examiner, I appreciate the fact that the candidate has used present perfect, right? I've always enjoyed. So I'm showing more variety here. So that would be better. Well done. Very good. So to achieve a 7+ in speaking, you need to give longer answers. You need to use words related to the topic. You need to use idiomatic expressions. By the way, guys, do you know idioms? Because to achieve a 7 for vocabulary in IELTS speaking, you need to use idioms. It's very important. You need to use a wide range of sentence structures with flexibility. Even to achieve a 6, you need to kind of use complex structures, guys. Minimize hesitation. No matter how good you are with complex structures. If you hesitate, the examiner will not would feel that you're not that confident. Sequence your ideas. That's very important. So once again, give longer answers, use words related to the topic, use idiomatic expressions, use wide range of sentence structures with flexibility, minimize hesitation, and sequence your ideas and linkers effectively. So now, guys, misconceptions about IELTS. Number one, it's a very difficult exam. Quite often people say, no, IELTS is a very difficult exam. Believe me, it's not. If you know the effective method, if you follow an effective method, you can achieve a very high score. The second misconception, you need to be extremely fluent to achieve a band 7 and higher. It's not true. Research has shown that not all who speak fluently achieve a high score in IELTS. Believe me, guys, I want to show you a lady who achieved a very good score within 3 months. Misconception number 3, you need to prepare for more than 1 year to achieve a high score, to prepare successfully. It's not true. We've had students who achieved 7+ in 3 months. So I would like to introduce a lady, Olga, who achieved a 7.5 with our IELTS expert course in 3 months. So she achieved 6.5 for listening, 9 for reading, 7 for writing, and 6.5 for speaking. Maria, she achieved 8 overall, 8.5 for listening, 8.5 for reading, 7 for writing, and 7.5 for speaking. She came to us with an intermediate level. We have Sergey, my student, upper intermediate level, achieved an overall 8 in 5 weeks, 9 for listening, 9 for reading, 6.5 for writing, and 7 for speaking. So what's the effective method? We call it as the APIA method. My dear students, you can't just attend a course which has already started. When I was in Sri Lanka, I kind of did my research. I contacted a teacher who promotes himself on Facebook with the results and so on. I called him. I said, I want to start preparing. What should I do? He said, join my lesson today. I said, what's your approach? How would you teach me? He couldn't answer. He said, you pay this amount, you just join the course and see. What's there to see if the teacher cannot explain how he's going to improve my level? So I've done my thorough research. I know how it's done in Sri Lanka. I know how it will be effective for you. So guys, there are 4 steps you should follow. Number 1, learn all the essential skills, step by step. Now, for example, when it comes to listening, become familiar with the question types. Step 2, learn the step-by-step approach to every question type. Then, once you're familiar, focus on the practice test. That's the practice. Step 2, become confident with skills by doing practice tasks. Then implement this at the mock exam. And then, guys, assess your progress and see where you should improve. Then assess your progress and see where you should improve. Speaking the same. First, try to understand how to answer WH questions. Then practice answering WH questions. Then once you receive feedback, try to understand where you should improve. That's how we will teach you. So that's why, guys, I would like to introduce the IELTS expert course, the course which is affordable and effective. So I would invite you all to join our IELTS expert course. The course has 3 components. Number 1, weekly online speaking workshops. So you will have online speaking workshops through Zoom. So you will have 6 weeks of Zoom lessons for speaking with our ex-examiners. Sometimes it could be me or with my teachers. Then every week you will have live lessons for listening and reading and live lessons for writing. Then, guys, you will have access to our platform for 6 months. So you will have interactive lessons on our platform for 6 months. I'll show the screen of the platform a bit later. So this course is going to cost only 24,000 Sri Lankan rupees, LKR. It's only for 24,000 rupees Remember, you will have unlimited access for 6 months. You will prepare with ex-examiners and certified IELTS trainers. There'll be special emphasis on writing and speaking, and we will guarantee your score. How we'll do that, I'll explain a bit later. So guys, it's only for 24,000 rupees. We can register only 9 students, and those who register for the IELTS expert course, we will give you 10% cash back once you register for the exam. I hope it's clear. So guys, first you register for the course, and then when you register for the exam, you will receive 10% cash back for the price you've registered for the exam. So you will have this option only for us. You will have this option only from us, guys. I hope it's clear. Then, guys, how to receive this cash back. So here are the steps you should follow. Step 1, register for the IELTS expert course. Step 2, register for the exam either at the British Council or IDP. So in Sri Lanka, you have 2 exam centers, the British Council or IDP. Then send us the confirmation. You need to send us the confirmation that you have registered for the exam, email to us, and we will refund 10% from the exam price within 5 working days. So that's how it works. So speaking more about the expert course, remember, you will have weekly live webinars with me. 12 units will be covered on the platform, and you will learn the step-by-step approach to answer every question type. And there'll be 5 to 7 complete practice tests. So please click to register. Guys, what you can do is you can register now. Register in the sense you can send your application, and then our consultant will call you tomorrow. So what you can do is you can leave your entry and you can receive a free consultation from our consultant. So please click the button below, click to register, and then guys, we will contact you. So if you're interested to register, please do it now. So all what you need to do is you need to leave your information, your name, your phone number, and then our consultant will contact you tomorrow. For reading, again, you will have live lessons. You will have 12 lessons on the platform as well. You will learn step-by-step approach to answer every question type. And there'll be separate approach for academic and for general. And at the end of the reading lesson or the reading course, you will have 5 practice tests. For writing, guys, you will have weekly webinars with our certified experts, 14 units on our interactive platform. All types of task 2 essay structures will be taught, where you will not learn with other courses, or 100 model answers, and you will learn 400 words related to 12 common topics. And then, guys, we will teach you task 1 writing. We will divide the groups. For generals, we will teach you how to write letters. For academics, we will teach you how to describe graphs, bar charts, pie charts, and so on. And remember, in this IELTS expert course, we will check 12 essays. And all these essays will be assessed based on the marking criteria. So for the speaking, guys, you will have weekly speaking workshops through Zoom. There'll be 16 units, interactive lessons on the platform. You will have a personal tutor who will check your recording on the platform, and you will have access to 50 Band 9 model answers. And there'll be up to 6 complete practice tests as well. So you can register now, guys. You can leave your application. Believe me, the course is very effective because we will guide you step by step. For listening and reading, you will learn all the essential skills. For then also, guys, you will revise grammar. So you'll have a separate grammar course as well for speaking and writing. Then you, like I said, you will learn 400 uncommon words related to 12 common topics. So we'll start with occupation, education, technology, places, people, food, leisure, studies. So we cover all the 12 topics for speaking, where you will learn idioms and expressions. And also, guys, in writing, we will also cover all the topics, like environment, globalization. Then we also, again, cover technology, crime. So that's why it's quite comprehensive. then believe me, you will have enough speaking practice with us. And remember, when you speak and when you write, you will have guidance from our examiners. So compared to other courses, guys, remember we check more essays. You'll have more speaking lessons. We follow the APIA method. And remember, you will have speaking lessons with examiners. So guys, look at the platform. It's very interactive. It's very interactive. It looks really user-friendly. I know that in Sri Lanka, artificial intelligence is not that common, but we have integrated the best technology to make it very convenient for you all. So when we speak about physical lessons, it's about Zoom lessons. Yes, you will have weekly Zoom lessons for speaking. So guys, remember the advantages of preparing with us. Number one, you will not miss a single lesson. In case you miss the live session, you will have access to our recording. I think studying online is more economical nowadays. You will save a lot of time and money on transport. Study at your convenience. So the platform, guys, you can study every day. You have access to the platform for 6 months, and you can do all interactive lessons on a daily basis, from your smartphone or from your PC. And believe me, based on the results we have, it's comparatively effective. So guys, just receive a free consultation. Click to just register. You don't pay now. Then our team, our representatives from Sri Lanka, they will guide you. So I would like to first introduce a team of teachers who will teach you online. So these are international teachers, CELTA certified, and they also have CPE certification. I would like to introduce Olga, our academic director. She's CELTA certified, and she will be looking after your writing skills. She will check your essays and provide feedback. I would like to introduce Diana. She's CELTA certified. She's specialized in speaking and writing. I would like to introduce Barry Ray, all the way from the USA. He's a TEFL certified. He is specialized in speaking. I would like to introduce Alexander, a CELTA certified teacher. He's from the United Kingdom. He's specialized in speaking and writing. I would like to introduce Alex, a TEFL certified. We call him Mr. Calm because he's a very calm teacher, but he's very effective. So he's specialized in listening and reading. Then we have Ms. Yana, who is CELTA certified. She's specialized in listening and reading. So these are the teachers you will have. So you will not have local teachers. You will have international teachers who will be conducting speaking workshops for you. Every speaking workshop is going to be for 90 minutes. The live sessions with me will be for 1 hour. Guys, our official representative in Sri Lanka is Leap Academy Private Limited. When you join our course, you'll be making the payment to Leap Academy. I would like to introduce our managing director, Mr. Shafraz Lafir. So he's the managing director in Sri Lanka. And our consultant is going to be Sarah Safwani. So when you leave your application, Miss Sarah will contact you tomorrow and she will consult you. So if you have questions about the organization, about the course structure, she will answer your questions. Will this course be helpful for PTE exams? Well, PTE is a different structure. It's a different approach. So, well, I wouldn't say that it's going to be directly helpful for PTE. Fine, guys. So remember, it's only 24,000 rupees. When you pay 24,000, and once you register for the exam, you will receive a 10% cashback. This is very unique for Sri Lanka. You will not have courses for this price. Plus, you will not pass the exam cheaper than this price as well. So for example, if the exam is 50, you're going to pay only 45,000 rupees for the exam. If the exam is 60,000 rupees, you're going to pay only 54 because you have 6,000 rupees cashback from us. So my dear students, look at the timetable. We have two groups, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So lessons will be at 7 p.m. Sri Lanka time. But the speaking workshop, the live speaking lesson will be on Fridays at 7 p.m. and it will be from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. We have another group, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Live lessons will be 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., but the speaking workshop will be on Saturdays at 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m., or it will be 10 a.m., guys. I'm sorry, it will be 10 a.m. to 11:30. 8:30 for us, I just mentioned for our teachers. For you guys, it will be at 10 a.m. on Saturday. But it's fine. I think wake up early in the morning, make your day productive. But some people, they don't like Saturday morning lessons. But I personally love my Saturday mornings to be productive. So I would love to start the lesson even at 8:30 a.m. So how to register? If you want to join us, guys, don't rush. Just fill in the form and choose your preferred schedule. Our consultant, Ms. Sarah Safani, will contact you tomorrow or the day after, and then you can consult. She will, you can raise your questions, and she will consult you, and then she will guide you through the registration process. Once you make the payment, guys, you will have access to your personal account. Your personal account would look like this. So you have listening, writing, speaking, reading, the grammar course. And by the way, guys, believe me, the grammar course is just wonderful. We cover everything from tenses, complex structures, prepositions, how to use the definite article. Then actually we will teach you how to use adjectives, how to use complex structures. So everything is covered in this grammar course as well. And you see, you have the speaking workshops and you have the weekly webinar. So everything is there in your personal account. So once you make the payment, Sarah Safani will guide you. Everything will be done. So guys, do you have questions? So I would like to answer all your questions related to IELTS. As an official IELTS administrator, you can ask any question related to IELTS now. I'll be more than happy to answer them, and also about the IELTS expert course. If you have questions related to the IELTS expert course, I'll be very happy to answer as well. Will I receive a personal feedback? Yes, Rasika, there are 3 types of feedback you will receive. For writing, Rasika, first, you will learn the basics, like how to structure sentences, how to structure paragraph. That's how you will start. And when you start writing essays, you will receive feedback from our examiner. So we have Miss Ludmila, who is like a very well-experienced examiner. So she'll be checking your essays and she'll provide feedback. So that's the first type of personal feedback. Then, Rasika, when you record your speaking answers, you'll be recording it on the platform. You will receive personal feedback for your speaking answers. Plus, when you attend the speaking workshop, remember, guys, these speaking lessons are not massive groups. When I was in Sri Lanka, I was taken to some group lessons, and someone told me that in Sri Lanka, you guys have mass classes, like 2,000, 3,000 students. I can't imagine that. Coming to the point, our speaking workshop, there'll be only 9 students. We have many groups. So, Rasika, every student will receive personal feedback on how to improve. How long does it take for the course? Navanji, I hope I pronounced your name properly, Navanji. So the course is going to be for 2 months, Navanji. It's going to be for 2 months. You see, so it's going to be for 2 months, but you will have access to the platform for 6 months. You see, and guys, I believe all of you can achieve a very high score, and I'm pretty sure about it. With us, you will. God forbid, in case you don't achieve your required score, we will prepare you for free. So it's mentioned on the program. So you will have, that's why we have access to the platform for 6 months, and you can continue preparing with us without any extra payment. I have only 7 days. Well, Dilini, you have only 7 days. So I don't think that this course is going to be helpful for you because, you know, you have only 7 days. I wish you all the very best. Leave your application. Let's Miss Sarah contact you tomorrow and you just explain your situation. And then based on what Sarah tells me, I'll see what I can do, Dilni. Okay. I'll see how we can help you, Dilni. I will definitely see how we can help you. Short period, within 7 days. I don't want to lie to you. It's too much. It's too intense. So it's not going to be effective. But leave your application, guys. Just click register. Leave your application. Miss Sarah Safani will contact you, and then I'll see what I can do. So date of commencement. Yes, guys. Look, we are starting the first batch next Wednesday. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The first lesson will be next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Sri Lanka time. Next Wednesday. The second batch, we are starting next Thursday, 7 p.m. Sri Lanka time. Ganesha Dilruchi is saying, I got 6.5 overall academic class time. I haven't planned my next exam. Will be. It's a very good question, by the way, Ganesh Dilruchi. First of all, 6.5 overall is not a bad score. So compliment yourself. Based on your score, if you have, okay, you have overall 6.5, can you tell me how much do you get for every section, Ganesha Dilrukshi? Then I can tell you when you should register for the exam. Can you tell me how much you got for every section? Ruth Janitha, in case you couldn't participate this specific day. Yes, you can. That's the benefit of this course. You will not miss a single lesson. So in case you can't make it, but it should be a valid reason, guys. I am quite strict as a teacher. Don't take it personal. So if it's a valid reason, right? If it's an emergency, we will compensate that lesson for you. So you can join on another day. That's for sure. Yes, the cashback, guys, is only for those who join our courses. We are an official IELTS testing center in Eastern Europe. So we go as Goodtesting. So please do your research. So we have an exam center in Tashkent in Uzbekistan. That's why I traveled to Uzbekistan. We used to work a lot in Russia before the current situation. So we had exam centers in Moscow, St. Petersburg, Ekaterinburg, and also in Armenia. So we have this capability. If you register for the exam, either at the British Council or at IDP, we can refund 10% of the exam price. So we can do this. So that I will do only for my students who will register with us through Leap Academy Private Limited. So I'm waiting for that score. So Ganesh Dilrukshi, what I want to say is you have overall 6.5. That's a good start. So if you have not less than 6 for each section, I would say you can definitely register for the exam in 2 months. In 2 months, you'll be able to register if you join our course. So Dylan, how many days per week conduct class? So we will conduct lessons 3 times per week, right? Once a week, listening and reading, 1 hour. Once a week, writing, 1 hour. Then guys, once a week, you will have speaking lessons through Zoom. And for every lesson, maximum, we will have only 9 students. We will not exceed that number because it's going to be ineffective. So I really don't know how students attend group classes where there are 15, 20 students. How can the teacher assess every student and provide feedback? So that's why you'll have lessons 3 times a week. Once a week, listening and reading. Once a week, you will have writing. And once a week, you will have speaking for 90 minutes. No, it's going to be, speaking classes are going to be mini groups, 9 students each group. Thank you very much. I'm very happy if you found it useful. Very soon, I'll be visiting Sri Lanka too. I love the country very much. So yes, I'm glad that you guys liked my lesson. Okay, Ganesha, listening and writing 6.5. Okay, well, to be honest, I'm very impressed that you have 6.5 for writing. Ganesha Dilrukshi, I would say that you can achieve a very high score with the IELTS Expert course. I'm pretty sure you achieved 6 for other sections. Maybe you were misguided. So I think overall, it's not critical. And I'm very confident that you can achieve a very high score, Ganesha Dilrukshi. Guys, do you have more questions? The full amount or the partial amount, you need to discuss with the representatives of Leap Academy Private Limited. So Ms. Sarah Safani will consult you. From our side, we are okay with anything. So guys, you all need to discuss with our representatives. So they will do the needful. And I'm very sure they will have a very favorable approach towards that, because we understand the current situation in Sri Lanka. So yes, we will look into that as well. I also want you all to know that any achievement that you want to make, write it down. Just write it down. Say that you have already achieved. So write in a sheet of paper, like I have achieved a 7 in IELTS. I have achieved a 7 in IELTS. Then close the book, don't go to sleep, and then plan accordingly. And I'm very sure you will achieve a 7. The same goes with band 8. Write down, I have achieved a band 8 in IELTS. That will trigger your subconscious mind, and that will help you to achieve a very good score. So look, Rasika, I showed you on the screen. You see, once you register on the platform, it's like your personal account. So the Zoom links will appear on the speaking workshop. You see, there are 6 components. I hope I can go back now and show it to you, Rasika. Let me see. I hope the screen won't freeze. So Rasik, you see, this will be your personal account. You see, you have writing, speaking, listening, reading. So here you have lessons. And then you see the last 2 columns, speaking workshops, weekly webinar. So when you click speaking workshop, Rasika, every time the link will appear there. The link will appear there. So I told you the time period of the course is going to be for 2 months, guys, but the access to the platform will be for 6 months. Okay, guys. So look, I'm going to end our lesson today. I guess you guys have spent a lot of time with me. I thank you all very much. So please register. If you guys want to achieve a very high score, I guarantee you will achieve with us. I've been involved in this IELTS for 10 years. I have to say that, I sleep with IELTS, I eat, I drink, what I do is just IELTS preparation. I've been involved in this field for more than 10 years. And the experience I'm going to share, I'm pretty sure it will be very useful for you all. Okay, so thank you very much for your time. Once again, stay in touch. So I think those who registered or those who applied, you will have free consultation with Ms. Sarah Safani in the nearest future. And I'm looking forward to teaching you guys. Remember, I'm starting my first lesson next Wednesday, 7 p.m. And my second session for the second group will be on Thursday, 7 p.m. The speaking workshops will be conducted by our international teachers, and they'll be also looking forward to teaching you. So until then, guys, have a great evening. Goodbye. Take care.